Lirona opened her eyes slowly, feeling sharp pain in her chest. The sky above her was not calm. 'Twas dark red, covered with thick dust clouds that moved like slow waves. The air tasted dry and bitter. For a moment, she did not know where she was or how she came here. Then the memories hit her all at once. Her family, her tribe, the long journey, the fear, and finally, the moment they left her behind. She tried to sit up, but her arms shook. Her legs felt like they did not belong to her. The desert ground was burning hot, and her skin was dry and cracked. She looked around. No signs of her people. No footprints, no shapes on the horizon. They were truly gone. Her tribe had abandoned her like a useless burden. Lirona closed her eyes again, remembering the last words she heard from them. She is weak. She will slow us down. She is not one of us anymore. Her heart felt heavier than her body. She was only 20 years old, but her world had already turned cold. Her family had believed she was cursed, all because she questioned their cruel traditions. Instead of helping her grow stronger, they pushed her away. In the end, they chose survival over love, and she was the price. A strange sound broke the silence. Lirona opened her eyes quickly. Something moved in the sky. At first, she thought they were birds, but birds did not shine like metal. Birds did not fly in perfect circles. She understood the danger at once. These were hunter drones, old machines that searched for weak or dying creatures. They waited, they watched. They attacked when the prey could no longer fight. Liruna's breath grew fast. She tried to crawl backward, but her hands slipped on the sand. Her body refused to move. One of the drones dipped lower, scanning her with a cold blue light. Her heart jumped. She knew what came next. When the light turned red, the drone would strike. Her voice was dry, but she whispered, "Please, not yet." The drone made a loud clicking sound. The red light began to glow faintly. Lirona shut her eyes, expecting the end. But suddenly, the sky changed again. A bright white flash appeared far above, followed by a loud boom. The drones paused. Their metal wings buzzed nervously. A human shuttle was entering the atmosphere. Lirona had heard stories about humans. Strange creatures from another star. Some said they were monsters. Some said they were saviors. She had never seen one in real life. But right now, she did not care. Anything was better than dying in this desert alone. The shuttle flew lower, pushing the sand aside with its engines. The drones backed away slightly, confused. Lirona held her breath as the shuttle landed on a nearby rock platform. Its engine turned silent. The door opened slowly, releasing a soft blue mist. A tall figure stepped out. He wore heavy armor, dark gray with glowing blue lines. His helmet hid his face, but he moved with confidence. He walked toward her carefully, scanning the drones first, then her injured body. Lirona wanted to call out, but no words came. Her throat felt frozen. The drones reacted first. One of them shot toward the human with a sharp screech. Lirona gasped. The human moved fast. He threw a small device into the air. It exploded in a bright wave of electricity. The drone crashed into the sand, its wings broken. The others flew back in confusion. The human looked at Lirona and spoke through his helmet, his voice calm and steady. "Don't move. I'm here to help." She blinked. Help? Why would a stranger help her? Even her own family did not stay for her. But his voice did not sound dangerous. It sounded real. It sounded kind. He knelt beside her, checking her wounds. "You're dehydrated. You need water," he said. He placed a small water capsule near her lips. Lirona hesitated. She was scared. She did not trust easily, but her body begged for water. She drank slowly. "Who are you?" she whispered. "Commander Rion Holt," he replied. "Human explorer. Hi. I picked up a distress signal near this area. I thought I would find a crashed drone, but I found you." Lerona felt tears gather in her eyes, but she pushed them back. She did not want to look weak. "You should leave me," she said softly. Everyone else did. Rian shook his head. "Not today. You're not dying here." For the first time since she woke up, Lerona felt a small spark of hope. A stranger had come from the sky, a human, someone who did not know her, did not hate her, did not call her cursed. And yet he stood between her and the drones. Maybe her life was not over. Maybe this was the beginning of something new. Commander Rian Holt kept his scanner up as he moved around the injured alien woman. His boots pressed deep marks into the soft sand. The atmosphere was thin here, colder than most deserts he had explored. But what worried him more were the hunting drones still circling above them. Their wings twitched in sharp movements as if they were deciding whether to attack again. Rian tapped his wrist screen. A soft beep came from the device, and a transparent shield dome formed around him and Lerona. The drones kept their distance, confused by the sudden barrier. Rian finally turned his full attention to her. The alien girl looked fragile, but her eyes held a fierce glow. She watched him with fear, confusion, and something else, something like disbelief. Rian removed his helmet, allowing her to see his face. She stiffened. This was her first time seeing a human clearly. His hair was dark, cut short for military comfort. His eyes were sharp but gentle. Dust blew across his face, yet he looked calm, as if saving strangers in deserts was a normal part of his day. "My name is Rian," he said quietly, placing the helmet beside him. "You're safe for now." Lerona stared at him for a long moment. Her lips trembled. "Why?" she whispered. "Why save me? But you? You don't know me." Rian checked her pulse, then the wound on her leg. "I don't need to know you to help you," he said. "That's not how humans work." The words confused her. In her world, strangers meant danger. Kindness was rare. Trust was a risk. But Rian spoke with such steadiness that it made her heart beat slow, just a little. He wrapped a medical band around her leg. The device hissed softly as it released healing gel. Lerona winced, then sighed. The pain faded to something bearable. Rian glanced at the sky again. The drones were growing restless. Their wings clicked louder, as if calling for reinforcements. "We can't stay here," he said. "This area is a hunting zone. More drones will come." He lifted his backpack and pulled out a lightweight emergency stretcher. Lerona tried to push it away. "No," she said weakly. "I can walk." "Not with that injury," Rian replied. "And not fast enough." She looked away, ashamed. Being carried felt like being helpless again. It reminded her of how her tribe saw her weak, slow, a burden. But Rian didn't treat her like that. He didn't sigh. He didn't judge. He simply held out his hand, waiting. Lerona took it. Rian helped her onto the stretcher and activated its hover mode. It rose a few inches above the sand. He guided it toward a cluster of tall rocks. As they moved, Lerona watched him closely. She had heard stories about human strange creatures who used technology instead of instinct, who built machines instead of trusting nature. Her tribe claimed humans were dangerous and selfish. But the man walking beside her didn't look dangerous. And he was definitely not selfish. Behind them, the drones screeched again. Rian didn't look back, but he quickened his pace. "They're following us," Lerona whispered. "I know," Rian said. "But I've handled worse." His calmness surprised her. "You are not afraid." Rian gave a faint smile. Fear is normal. But letting fear control everything. That's how people die. Lerona thought about her tribe. That was exactly what they did. They feared anything different, anything that questioned old rules. And because she asked too many questions, they left her for dead. The hover stretcher passed between two jagged rocks, entering a narrow canyon. The wind here was stronger, whipping sand in swirling patterns. Rian stopped suddenly and placed his hand on the rock wall. A hidden panel opened, revealing a metal door blended into the stone. Lirana's eyes widened. This place is yours? It's a temporary field base, Rian said. I set it up while exploring ruins nearby. He pushed the door open. Warm white light filled the small chamber inside. He guided her in and activated the door behind them. A deep metallic lock clicked into place. The noise was comforting. For the first time since her abandonment, Lirona felt truly shielded from danger. Rian set her stretcher down and brought her water again. She drank slowly this time, studying every detail around Hertha's strange screens. The humming machines, the smooth metal walls. Everything was new, everything human. Rian sat on a chair beside her. He looked tired, but still focused. "Tell me," he said gently, "what happened to you out there?" The question stabbed her heart. She looked at her hands, shaking slightly. "My family," she whispered. "They left me. They said I was cursed. They said I would bring danger. So they abandoned me in the desert." Rian's expression hardened not with anger at her, but at the cruelty she had faced. "No one deserves that," he said. Lirona took a deep breath. "Why do you care?" Rian leaned back and answered softly, "Because you're alive, and because, sometimes, the people who leave us are wrong." Those words hit her deeper than he could imagine. For a moment, the room was silent. Outside, the drones circled helplessly, unable to break the shield or the metal wall. Inside, something new began, a fragile connection, a spark of trust between two beings who should never have met. Lirona closed her eyes. For the first time since the desert, she felt warmth instead of pain. And she wondered, maybe this human was not just a stranger. Maybe he was the beginning of her second life. Inside Rian's field base, the warm air felt safe, almost comforting. But safety never lasted long on this planet. The shield outside flickered once, then held steady. Rian noticed the change immediately. He tapped his wrist display and frowned. "The storm is coming faster than I expected," he muttered. Lirona looked up, her purple eyes uneasy. "Storm? A big one," Rian replied. "Sandstorms here are strong enough to tear drones apart. Good for us, but bad if we stay too long." He stood and began packing equipment. Lirona watched him quietly. He moved with purpose, like someone used to danger. She still didn't understand why he helped her, but something about him made her feel less alone. "You should rest," Rian said without turning. "Your body needs time to heal." "I rested for too long in the desert," Lirona answered softly. "I don't want to lie down again." Rian stopped and looked at her. She held her gaze steady. There was fear in her eyes, yes, but also a spark of strength he hadn't seen before. "All right," he said. "But stay close to me when we move." That simple sentence felt strange to her. No one had ever said, "Stay close," with kindness. Her tribe only said it when they wanted to control or punish, but Rian said it like a promise. He opened a locker and pulled out a thin metallic cloak. "Wear this," he said. "It will protect you from the sand." Lirona hesitated, then took it. The cloth felt light, almost too light to be real. Yet when she wrapped it around herself, it warmed instantly. Rian pressed a button on the wall. The metal door slid open, revealing the canyon outside. The wind howled. Dust moved in ghostly shapes across the ground. "Let's go," Rian said. He powered on her hover stretcher again and guided it out of the base. They moved through the narrow canyon, where rock walls rose high on both sides. The sky above was turning a sickly yellow. Lirona could feel the storm rising like a living creature. The farther they went, the more unstable the ground became. Small tremors shook the sand. Strange clicking sounds echoed around them. "What is that?" she asked. "Burrows," Rian answered. Insects the size of your arm. They live under the sand. And they eat people. Rian smiled faintly. Only when they're hungry. Lirana swallowed hard and tried to shrink into the stretcher. The canyon widened as they moved, revealing a vast stretch of broken land. Sharp stone pillars stood like the teeth of some giant beast. Rian paused to scan the area. Movement ahead, he said. Lirana looked too, but she saw nothing. The wind grew stronger, blowing sand into her hair. Rian knelt beside her. Your tribe, he asked, gently. Why did they say you were cursed? She looked down. The question hurt, but he asked it in a way that made it easier to answer. I asked too many questions, she whispered. Our tribe follows old rules. Some are cruel. When I refused to join a ritual hunt, they said I brought shame. They believed leaving me behind would protect them. Rian's jaw tightened. What? They abandoned you because you refused violence. She nodded. It is the way of my people. Rian shook his head. Then their way is wrong. Lirana flinched at his boldness. No one in her tribe ever challenged tradition. But Rian spoke truths she had never dared think. A loud crack sounded to the left. Rian grabbed her stretcher and moved quickly. A huge sand mound split open and a giant burrower erupted from the ground. Its long legs stabbed at the air. Its mandibles clicked angrily. Lirona gasped. Rian, I see it, he said calmly. He pulled out a flash charge and tossed it. The explosion created a bright burst of light. The creature shrieked and dove back underground. The ground trembled as it retreated. Laruna's heart raced. How? How are you so calm? Rian wiped sand from his face. Experience. They continued forward. The storm clouds thickened. The wind felt colder now, sharper. The world around them turned blurry, as if reality itself was shaking. Suddenly, a small alarm beeped on Rian's wrist. He checked it and frowned deeply. What is it? Lirana asked. Your tribe? Rian said. They're close. Her stomach dropped. They're looking for me? No, he answered. They're tracking movement. And they're armed. Fear twisted inside her. Her own family coming to finish what they started. Rian placed a hand on her shoulder. Listen to me. I won't let anyone hurt you, but they are many, she whispered. And I'm not alone, Rian said firmly, pointing at the canyon ahead. My ship is close. Once we reach it, they won't touch you. Lirona felt something warm inside her chest knot. Hope exactly, but something close. For the first time, someone was standing with her. Someone was willing to fight for her. The storm roared louder behind them. Her tribe closed in from the right. The path ahead narrowed into darkness. This journey was only beginning. The storm clouds grew darker as Rian and Liruna moved deeper into the canyon. The wind screamed between the stone walls, carrying grains of sand sharp enough to cut skin. The world felt heavy, as if the planet itself was warning them to turn back. But turning back was no longer possible. They're getting closer, he said quietly. She did not need the scanner to feel it. A cold pressure in the air, strange vibration under the sand. These signs always came before her tribe's hunters appeared. My tribe does not chase prey for long, she whispered. If they are coming, it means they want something important. Rian looked at her. They want you. The words cut deeper than any blade. Lirina lowered her gaze. They do not want me alive. Rian stopped walking and faced her directly. The wind caught his hair, but his eyes stayed steady. Lirona, listen to me. You did nothing wrong. They abandoned you. They left you to die. That is not your failure, is theirs. You speak as if family can be wrong. And when they are, someone has to stand for the truth. She didn't know what to say. No one in her life had ever spoken to her like that. No one had ever defended her. A distant howl echoed across the canyon long, sharp, unnatural. Rian stiffened. That's not an animal. Lirana's blood froze. It is a signal. The hunters are marking territory. Rian pulled her stretcher closer and crouched low. How many do you think? If they sent hunters, Lirona swallowed. Then at least 5, maybe 7. Rian's jaw tightened. And they all know this land better than I do. The wind pushed harder now, shaking loose stones from the canyon walls. The storm clouds had nearly swallowed the sky. Lirona wrapped the metallic cloak around herself and whispered, Rian, I don't want you to die because of me. He gave her a surprised look. I don't plan on dying. That is not what I meant, she said softly. You could leave me. Save yourself. My tribe will not chase you. They want me only. Rian stared at her, confused at first, then angry. Lirona, I didn't save you just to abandon you later. Humans don't work that way. I don't work that way. She wanted to believe him. She truly did. But years of fear and rejection had built thick walls inside her heart. A sharp whistle echoed through the canyon. This time, it was close to close. Rian grabbed her stretcher and pushed it behind a rock formation. Stay low, he ordered. The air shifted. Shadows moved on the cliffs above. Lirana recognized the shapes. Tall figures, thin but strong, wearing masks carved from bone. The hunters of her tribe. Their eyes glowed faintly under the masks, cold, merciless. One of them called out, voice distorted by the wind. Lirona, daughter of the fallen line. He survived longer than expected. Rian stood in front of her, shielding her completely. Don't answer, he whispered. But the hunter continued, his tone cruel. Come with us, and your death will be quick. Resist, and we will break you slowly. Lirona shook. Rian, they won't stop. Rian raised a small device and pressed a button. A blue barrier formed around the rock, stronger than the last one. Let them try, he said. A spear made of bone and plasma hit the shield. The air crackled. The shield flickered, but held strong. The hunters hissed in frustration. Rian whispered, We need to move while they test the barrier. He guided the stretcher along a narrow path hidden between the rocks. Liruna's heart pounded. She could hear the hunters jumping from cliff to cliff above them. Their movements were fast, agile, deadly. Why do they hate me so much? She asked suddenly, voice cracking. Rian didn't hesitate. Because you asked questions, and people who fear change hate the ones who dare to think. His words lit something inside her, a small flame. Another spear struck the rocks near them, exploding into dust. The hunters roared and dashed forward. Rian pulled out a flash charge and threw it upward. The burst of light blinded the hunters for a moment. Move, he shouted. They rushed out of the canyon and into a wide-open field. The storm winds were brutal here. Sand hit their skin like needles. The sky swirled like a monster preparing to swallow them. Lirana looked at Rian, eyes wide with fear. Where now? Toward the ship, Rian said. Just a little farther, and a loud crashing sound cut him off. A massive rock pillar behind them split in half. The hunters had broken free of the canyon. Rian cursed under his breath. They're faster than I thought. Lorena felt tears in her eyes, not from pain, but from fear of losing the only person who ever protected her. Rian, she whispered, please don't leave me. Rian tightened his grip on the stretcher. I'm not leaving, ever. And with the hunters charging behind them and a deadly storm roaring ahead, they ran toward the unknown, the only hope left.